things off the cuff just because he's upset in a peak. And that is dangerous when you have the launch codes, when you are the commander-in-chief of the military, when you have the entire federal government at your disposal. And so I think, as citizens, we really have to seriously ask ourselves, what do we do next? Because the president is not representing all of us. Sarah Huckabee Sanders' statement was interesting because she did not call it fake news. And she said that the person who wrote it was only caring about their ego. That sounds like Donald Trump to me. He's the one who always cares about, people saying nice things about him and about his own ego and how things affect him personally. So I think that is something, when the president is only thinking about himself and not thinking about the rest of us, who he represents and who he is supposed to be governing, that is a dangerous situation.
Joyce, I wonder who he does represent, if not the white South, to be blunt about it. This comment, dumb Southerner. First of all, I went to Chapel Hill. I was surrounded by a lot of people smarter than me, I got to tell you, especially in math. The idea of Southerners being stupid is an absurdity. And why would he use that notion generically? It's so offensive, let's put it that way, just offensive politically.
This seems to be pretty much stock in trade for Trump, though. He never seems to formulate a reasonable, calm criticism of someone's policies. Instead, he seems to jump almost immediately to this available stereotype criticism. He criticized a disabled reporter. He criticized Gold Star parents. The easy criticism of Sessions instead of having a principled disagreement with him, which would be tough since the core of his complaint is Sessions' recusal, which was certainly compelled by DOJ policy. So he resorts to criticizing Sessions' physical characteristics, his speech, his heritage, and in this case it really has to shoot Trump in the foot. Alabama still has, or at least had at the last polling, strong positives for the president, up in the 70th percentile.
That's what I thought.
We'll have to see if Alabama voters will sit down for this.
John, your thoughts about this? This guy is an equal opportunity character assassin. He's going around abandoning these people. Low IQ, Maxine Waters, low IQ.
Right, I mean,
keep going. And now he's got dumb Southerner.
Can you stop saying it that way?
Well,
it's personal.
He seems to like it. I mean, he calls them that,
Yeah, no, look, I think he tries to make himself feel better by trashing other people personally, likes to call other people dumb. I think he's insecure about his own intellect. And we have heard him before use the term mentally retarded to describe people repeatedly on the Howard Stern show. So when he says he's never called anybody that, it's just a lie.
Yeah.
The dumb Southerner thing, I agree that this isn't good for him with his base. I mean, he had to deny that. If the folks out there thought he was calling them dumb Southerners, it would pretty much poke a hole in the entire populist idea that he has been trying to sell for the last 2 years.
I think the movie was called Face in the Crowd. And it was about a guy that made fun of his own supporters out there. Michael Schmidt, is this going to, you've often smiled at me like you are now, about the fact that the ability of reporters from major newspapers to get good stories out of this White House, will this encourage or discourage honesty coming from the sources?
Well, if they think there's a leak hunt, which there's been several different times, maybe they'd be more concerned about that. But on the other hand, they may see the president as more vulnerable at this point. Maybe this is something that tips some Republicans. This all comes down to his Republican support. Yeah. And if they start to see that move, do they think, okay, well, maybe if we are more candid and more helpful, could we do something here? Is he more vulnerable? That's the thing.
I wonder how Lindsey Graham likes the phrase, dumb Southerner. Anyway, thank you, Michael Schmidt. Thank you, Jonathan Allen, Zerlina Maxwell. You were enjoying yourself tonight. Zerlina, thank you for coming on this big night. I mean it, a big night. Thank you, Joyce, for your analysis. More on the president's response to that anonymous opinion piece. I don't think it's going to stay anonymous for long. It's in the New York Times. We're going to find out. We're going to do vocabulary assessment. We're going to know who uses the word lodestar. It's one of their common words. We're going to figure this out. Look out, Mike.
From becoming your parents.
Took quite a bit of work, because this is all statement.
But we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
I'm all about my bed.
This mattress is dangerously comfortable.
When I get in, I literally say, ah.
Introducing the Lisa mattress. A better place to sleep.
This bed hugs my body.
I'm now a morning person.
The Lisa mattress is designed to provide strong support, relieve pressure, and optimize airflow to keep you cool.
Hello, bed of my dreams.
Order online. We'll build it, box it, and ship it to your door for you to enjoy. Sleep on it for up to 100 nights and love it, or you'll get a full refund. Returns are free and easy.
I love my Lisa.
Today is gonna be great.
Read our reviews, then try the Leesa mattress in your own home. Order during our...
There's an anonymous op-ed from the New York Times that says, I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. Just posted, no reaction.
Sheriff, can you imagine? We have somebody in what I call the failing New York Times that's talking about he's part of the resistance within the Trump administration.
This person works for the administration, they say.
And, the dishonest media, because you people deal with it as well as I do. But it's really a disgrace.
Welcome back to Harvard. That was, of course, President late today, the president, moments after the bombshell opinion piece dropped in the New York Times, which will run tomorrow. Joining me right now with the very latest, that is NBC News Chief White House Correspondent Hallie Jackson. I've been waiting to hear what you know, because you know everything that's happening right now. I mean that, right now. You're the king of that.
Latest.
Is the White House going to have an internal investigation? They must be wondering, using the vocabulary notes.
Yes.
You can figure out who writes something. If you go through a study of the vocabulary, you can figure it out. Go ahead, your thoughts.
Okay, so a couple things here, Chris. Let me tell you first, your first question. What do we know right now? I will tell you this. There are people close to the president and the White House telling myself, my colleagues, Kristen Welker, Peter Alexander, the president's mood is volcanic, to use their description of the words. He is exploding at this, furious, not just about the op-ed itself, the contents of it, but that it would be published in the New York Times, a paper he both despises and yet at times yearns to be in when he calls reporters in to be able to talk to them, that it was published anonymously in the Times. Now, let's be clear. Anonymous to us, but not to the heads of the op-ed pages in the Times. They know who this person is. They're just not telling everybody else because they say this senior administration official would then jeopardize this person's job if they were, in fact, to be revealed publicly. As for this, so that's what we know is going on. We know that the president is bothered by this because he called this gutless. He said it himself publicly inside the East Room just after this news broke. As to the second part of your question, the idea of the speculation, boy, that is the game of the moment here, Chris. I was walking up the driveway to come on the air to talk with you, and somebody shouted, Hallie, who do you think it is? That is the question of the moment. And again, there is a lot of linking this word to this person, and can we do this? Keep in mind, this is an administration where officials inside this West Wing and in the administration have routinely tried to throw people off the scent, right, to cover their tracks by planting different words or phrases or ideas in order to misdirect, essentially. So it is full of intrigue. It is explosive.
You know the trade craft of your business as well as anybody around. The term senior administration official is not a BS term. It's not somebody. It's not one of the guards at the gate. It's not somebody who reports to. It's probably somebody who reports to a cabinet official or to the president, pretty high up. That's senior official.
That's a key word you just said, though, probably, Chris. And here's the thing. Every news organization, just to pull back the curtain, defines senior administration official a little bit differently. We have asked the New York Times, how do they define senior administration official? Senior, what does that mean? Is it somebody who, as in some organizations, does senior mean somebody who talks directly to the president? Does senior refer to a title in a certain area? The New York Times is not responding to that question from us, but they are describing this person as somebody who is, in their words, senior, Chris.
But if it comes out that it's not a senior official, and it will come out at some point, that it's not, they'll look stupid. So I don't think the Times, which has a lot riding on this, would call somebody a senior administration official. They didn't mean it. Because we all know what that means. It's somebody important. Somebody, we may not know their name, but we damn well know what their job is, like speechwriter for the vice president, for example. Somebody knows how to write an op-ed piece. Somebody knows how to file with James Bennett in the op-ed page of the New York Times. Knows how to do it without the help of a secretary or a staffer or any kind of help. It's somebody who can do it by themselves, because who would risk bringing in a posse to do something like this? That's my thinking. Yours?
Can I go back to something that I was saying earlier that relates to the point that you're just making, Chris, which is, while there is a lot of intrigue about who did this, how did this come out, there is also a lot of concern about the actual content of this reporting, Chris, that backs up in many ways Bob Woodward's reporting in that book that has now been released that talks about officials in this administration steering this president away from some of his worst impulses, as it's been described. It is a direct link.
We have connected it in history to George Kennan's telegram, which was about containment. But in this case, it's not the containment of a foreign power like the Soviet Union or the communist threat internationally. It's about the threat of the chief executive of this country. Thank you, Hallie Jackson. Great reporting. Up next, more on that bombshell New York Times op-ed. You're watching it. Hardball.
so soft. Did you use Head and Shoulders 2-in-1?
I did, Mom. Want to try it?
Yes.
It intensely moisturizes your hair and scalp and keeps you flake-free.
Manolo, look at my soft hair. I should be in the shot now, too. Try Head and Shoulders 2-in-1.
I was looking for somebody who wanted to find love.
At eHarmony, we ask you questions so that we can match you for a lasting connection.
I found my person.
I really found my true love on eHarmony.
eHarmony.com, the #1 trusted dating site. Start for free today.
My mom loves to volunteer, but I worry because she recently had a fall. So I got her the new Lively Mobile from Great Call. It's a mobile medical alert device with fall detection. It's so reassuring knowing she can get help anywhere with just the press of a button.
In any unsafe or uncertain situation, you'll be immediately connected to a highly trained agent who can get you the help you need.
Go to greatcall.com/coupon to get 25% off at these fine retailers.
Who says being cheap is a good thing? We do. Cheapaware.com. There's nothing wrong with being cheap, with having fun, with saving money. So go ahead. Be smart. Be cool. Be cheap. Just download, click, or call and save on the best flights, hotels, cars, and more.
Cheapaware.com.
Go ahead. Be cheap.
Fries for 316, please. Thank you.
David, what's going on? Oh, hey. That's it?
Yeah.
Everybody, 2 seconds. Dear Sebastian, after careful consideration of your application, it is with great pleasure that we offer our congratulations on your acceptance.
Through the Tuition Assistance Program, every day McDonald's helps more people go to college. It's part of our commitment to being America's best first job.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Bliss with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. One less thing to spoil the weekend. No, it can't make the fish bite, but maybe they'll work on that. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Do you owe money to the IRS?
I owed the IRS $66,000. I was paralyzed with fear.
Then Julia called Optima Tax Relief.
The team at Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill for a teeny tiny fraction. They really cleared the path for me to have a fresh start. It was amazing.
For your free consultation, call 1-800-668-2261.
Wow. Welcome back to Hard. We're getting a stunning look, of course, at how the administration officials view the man they work for. Have you noticed? In that anonymous New York Times op-ed that will run tomorrow, a Trump senior official writes, the root of the problem is the president's amorality. Anyone who works with him knows he is not moored to any discernible first principles that guide his decision-making. Well, the author describes the daily disbelief of senior officials at Trump's comments and actions, writing, meetings with him veer off topic and off the rails. He engages in repetitive rants, and his impulsiveness results in half-baked, ill-informed, and occasionally reckless decisions that have to be walked back. Well, let's bring in tonight's roundtable Nina Kumar, White House correspondent for McClatchy, P.J. O'Rourke, the author of None of Your Business, and David Korn, Washington Bureau Chief for Mother Judge. David, I want you to start this thing. The message. What do you get to the message? Because I wonder, when you read today in the afternoon, somebody comes running in at 4 o'clock today, somebody inside the White House has verified everything that Bob Woodward's written, everything that Omarosa said, everything that Michael Wolff said, everything the worst critics of the president believe, that he's basically being treated as child care. There are people around him keeping him from hurting himself.
Well, the question is, why are we surprised? I mean, we've seen this behavior from Donald Trump, not just for the presidency, not just for the campaign, but for years. Bullying, insulting behavior, not being able to finish a sentence, let alone a paragraph, not being able to have a clear thought. We saw this during the debates.
The Palace Guard is now talking.
Well, now they're talking, and they have been talking, and we had Bob Woodward's book, and I think, really, I agree with what Steve Schmidt said, that you cried a cooler at the beginning of the show. It's time for these people to come forward. If indeed the president, it matches this description that I
Just turn him over. Imagine turn him over. I mean it. You're the straight. What's going